thank you for coming, Dre. Drenerdo is here with us, and we are going to kick off his interview. I'm so excited. We've been talking a lot lately about game development in the group. And on top of that, I have a lot of friends who are game developers, and I think just for me, the whole industry, the career field and the creativeness of game development has like always been the fascination for me. So like I am not like one of those super duper gamers, but I was a gamer. I played video games a lot in my early days. I would probably say that if I was about 20 years younger, I probably would be a game developer. Now especially now in this modern time, like it just seems like super duper cool. So we're kicking off this interview with Dre Nerdo. If you guys have any questions that you want to throw in, I've actually was hoping that you guys would put them all in, so we didn't have to stop the interview and I didn't have to actually look in the group for the questions. But if you have questions, I'll periodically peek inside of the Facebook event page and we'll ask some questions from the group members right after. Okay. All right, Dre. Thank you. Thank you for coming. How you been?
I've been well. How are you?
I've been good. Hanging in here.
That's good. So you
Yeah.
recovered from Rona, from C19.
I think I have. Yeah. I have a little bit of congestion still left over. You probably hear it in my voice, but for the most part I feel like almost 100%. So yeah, I'm feeling great. You haven't battled with it at all yet, have you? Or I don't want to say yet, but
Dabbled with Rona.
yeah.
Me and Rona dabbed it up a few times.
Oh no.
Chopped it up a little bit.
No.
Yo, peace and bounce, man.
Yeah.
So long. No, I'm kidding. No, I have not. I had a cold and things of that nature. I had congestion, but not like severe symptoms of what COVID is. But who knows? Because the symptoms always change. They're always changing something with it. So, um, you know, it's not a thing I want because I get terrible congestion during like winter season.
Oh, hold on. Somebody's saying that they can't hear you. I can hear you
Oh,
fine.
hello?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Mhm.
Um, I can hear you.
There's probably a delay in the video.
Somebody says we can hear Lashana, but we can't hear
You
you.
can't hear me? How about now? Can you hear me? You can hear me, but can anybody in the stream hear me?
Y'all hear him?
Chat in real time.
Hmm.
I can't see the chat, so I don't know.
Hold on, let me just check some settings here real quick to make sure that we got the sound all correct.
That was a terrible joke. I'm not even gonna use that again. Sorry.
So you gotta laugh about it these days.
Nah, nah, no, nah. I haven't had it. Not been really. So.
They're saying you coming through real low. Here's what I'm gonna do is I think it might be I have this new microphone that I have connected. I think that might be it. Let me just try and disconnect it real fast.
I mean, no, you're fine. Don't change anything. Probably my microphone.
Can you hear him now? I just disconnected the other mic. That's what I was thinking. Maybe there was some feedback or something coming from there. Mm. You guys hear him? Say something, Dre.
Oh yeah, my microphone's all the way up. Let's see. Alright, well, we'll figure it out.
All right, we'll figure it out. And I'm gonna try and take this down and edit it as well, and then we'll put it back up in the group. But yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's kick it off. All right, well, I guess I can say that I met Dre through a friend of mine. He was referred to me. We were getting ready to embark on a project with one of my potential clients, and Dre was like, he came highly recommended from one of my pals. And when I saw his work, I was so intrigued by what he was doing. Like he was like out there. It was like beyond stuff that I could even imagine. And it wasn't just like console game development. It was like he has stuff like VR, AR, and a range of different video games and this whole virtual reality scape that that I was coming to him for. I was blown away from his talent. So that's how I met him, and I wanted to bring him on to introduce him to the group because I know a lot of you all have been curious about how the game development career is, and who better than to ask those questions and get some feedback on the life of a game developer. So I'll start with Dre. Tell us how you got into game development. Like, where did it all start?
It all started with the Oculus Development Kit 1. I've always wanted to get into gaming, but I needed a way in. Actually, it was way before that. It was around like the Leap Motion era. Now they're Ultra Leap. It was, with the rise of natural user interfaces. The most famous one, we all know about the Nintendo Wii, the motion sensor technology, but with natural user interfaces, using your body or your hands as a controller, and Connect was just the start of that. And I've always wanted to develop experiences for that. And then when I saw the Leap Motion, which was the name at the time, now it's Ultra Leap, I was like, this is the future, and I want to create stuff with that device at the time. And I made a little web ping pong game, which I don't have that project anymore. I forgot what happened to it. Probably deleted it. But it was something that was cool to do, and it was a nice little small game. Then I, playing around with IoT devices and drones and things of that nature, and using natural user interfaces for that, and that stuff was cool. And I, wanted to find a way into game development. Just, the market was quote unquote oversaturated at the time. It was the hype of the indie game development scene, and it's still hype. There's really impressive games that are coming out now, especially on Xbox Game Pass, even on Steam as well. But when I first tried the Oculus Development Kit 1, that's when I knew it was like, okay, this is a way in. And trying the Tuscany demo, and just seeing how that was made. It was made in Unity, but how detailed it was for that time period was something that just encouraged me to like, okay, I want to make experiences like this. And then, I just started learning about the technology, about VR technology, but also learning Unity. Because I was doing stuff previously on the web, using WebGL, and 3JS, which is a layer on top of WebGL.
So you were a developer before you got into game development.
I still am a developer. I'm not just doing games. Outside of what I do, I do more outside of games. I love games. Games is it inspires me to take on other projects.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things in games that can be translated to different areas in emerging technologies such as virtual reality and augmented reality. And most of my ideas do come from video games. The idea for Saving Party Island was based off of other games that existed on the App Store at the time, or even some stuff in VR. So I try to do. I have a mixture between different stuff, but just getting back to how it all started for me was the Oculus DK1. Trying that out, was getting inspired by that, and then I tried other models of the Oculus Development Kit 2, and then tried some mobile VR stuff, such as the I forgot what they were at the time. It was they were in partnership with Oculus. Oculus partnered with Samsung, the Gear VR.
Mm-hmm.
So I was building some stuff on that, and I started off with 360 video because I got outside of games, did some 360 video stuff, and then I wanted to work on this project that ended up becoming a passion project that helped launch my career. And it was just a basic fighting game. And I knew that, everyone was going to make a boxing game. And I was doing cardio kickboxing at the time. And that's when I, started to get addicted to doing martial arts and transitioned into Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and stuff of that nature. But I wanted to make an MMA fighting game in VR. The problem with that was a lot of liability issues. There's a few times I got punched in the face doing demos, but we'll get to that later on. I got kicked one time too. That
No.
was interesting. But I was learning the game engine by making that game. Learning the physics and learning the Unity physics and understanding animation and understanding just, doing state machines and things of that nature between, what the fighter would do if he would get hurt, how he would recover, how he would punch, how he would kick, how he would move around, how he would follow you. So a lot of stuff I learned, and it was just me learning Unity for the first time. But that project just kept me motivated to learn more and more and more. And it was difficult. I mean, trying doing a fighting game is easy now because you can just put, if any of y'all know the terminology behind Unity or any game development, you put colliders on the hands or the controllers and then have, characters duke it out, and you have like a point system or some type of event or some type of UI.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot involved in game development, and I really didn't know that until you broke it down that one time that we were in a meeting. I'm like, whoa, like the characters and actions and
Yeah.
collides
But that's the important thing of starting small. Like I didn't learn Unity by just doing like a sample Hello World app, like Rollerball. Like you have a ball that have a rigid body on it, and it would be it could be a collision or it could be a trigger. On trigger ender something you would use for doing, especially for doing UI events. Nothing to do with physics. You just want to be able to set up a score system, basic score system, or some type of event where like you would one object would end up colliding with another object and it would trigger some type of explosion. I didn't learn Unity doing that. I should have, but I didn't. I learned it just by diving into a passion project. But Knockout VR just opened I call it Knockout VR. I put it in the Steam store and then I took it down because the one thing you should never do as a game developer, do not listen to people who may not buy your game. They're gonna hate on you. Just don't listen to that. Just launch it and let the market decide. And let people who really do support what you're doing continue to support, play it, give you feedback. Those are people you should listen to. And I learned that now with Saving Party Island, which we'll get to that. But Knockout VR taught me Unity, and I built on my knowledge with it. And then I ended up putting that project aside because, people started to see my work. And at the time, I was going out to different hackathons. That's really how I started my software career. I dropped out of college and went directly into hackathons because that was my college education. That was my college term, and it lasted longer than 4 years. Like I just kept going to them because it was fun. I was meeting people. The majority of my friends that are in the tech industry are from hackathons. And when I started my VR career, I was just going around with an Oculus Development Kit 1, going to different hackathons, and Knockout VR, learning the engine, learning Unity. I ended up doing some cool stuff with other devices that I realized that those devices will be the future of virtual reality, or just all experiences, both virtual and augmented reality. The 6 Degrees of Freedom technology and HTC Vive, and now you see it with most mobile devices. Now you see it with the Quest. But at the time, HTC Vive had these light sensors that you can hang up on the wall, and then you can just move around, and you can just measure map out your play space. For anyone who owns a Quest, when you first turn it on, you will see it will pass through. You'll see pretty much the outside world from the headset, and you would draw your play space. So if you get close to it, the experience will stop.
Okay.
And it will let you know you're too close to it.
Okay, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, the HTC Vive at the time did that, and it still does it to this day, but it was an impressive piece of technology because you were able to move around, even though you were still tethered to a computer. Me, my tethers, you're still plugged into a device, and you're pretty much constrained in that whatever area you're drawing, but you have to be careful. Biggest gripe, but then they launched a solution, which they had a wireless solution, which is pretty cool. I tried it. It was a nice device. It worked, but it was really impressive. It was a really impressive headset. I'm like, this is what I should be developing my game on. And I was going around, I was telling people, I said, the future of VR is 6 degrees of freedom. And what I mean by 6 degrees of freedom, you can move around and you have these three-dimensional objects in front of you. You can move around them as actually like you can see all dimensions of it. When you're dealing with 3 degrees of freedom, it's just an object that's in front of your face like this. So wherever you move, it moves. And it becomes annoying because you just want to be able to move around. Like when you put on a headset for the first time, like Oculus Quest, if anything is in front of you for so long, you just get tired. You're like, oh no, this is going to make me sick. I don't want this in front of me. I want to be able to move my head. It moves with me, but I want to move it. I want to move it away and be able to look at an object like a boxing ring or a boat or a car or whatever. But I want to be able to move around, and the experience, it works in a smooth way.
So it's safe to say that you would recommend an HTC Vive over a Oculus, correct? Or?
No. Well, for that time and now I say Quest 2 100% because you don't only have a mobile VR headset, you also have a VR headset that can be hooked up to your computer. So whatever games that are on Steam or on the Oculus store for PC, you can still play that through your Oculus Quest.
Okay.
Which I feel is a game changer for anyone who's just getting into VR and want to be able to experience both pieces of content, both mobile and PC. That's just my opinion. Other people may recommend the Index or recommend the HTC Vive Pro 2 or whatever device is out there.
I'm in the market for one. I was just like I'm going back and forth between the Vive and
Oculus.
The Oculus, yeah. So
I mean, let's say like. I don't want to just. I'd rather people just go out and experiment.
Yeah.
And just go from there. But if I'm like looking at it from like a long-term investment, I say the Quest 2.
Okay.
Because of the ability to take it with you anywhere. The HTC Vive or the Index or any of those other VR headsets, they're great if you're keeping it in one place and not moving it.
Okay.
Because I did demos where I had to take that HTC Vive with me. And it's not fun.
Oh, wow.
You packing everything and setting everything up and not moving it for a while. But when you have to move it from one location to the next, you're like, nah,
and the price difference. I was
in the price.
Yeah, I mean it's like a significant amount more than the Oculus. So like Facebook is killing the game with the Oculus.
And I recommend the Oculus Quest over Oculus Quest 2 over any other headset in the market. It's just hands down one of the best ones.
So let me ask you this because I've heard different responses to this question, and it always when I talk to friends of mine who are game developers, it always intrigues me when I hear somebody say that they didn't grow up playing video games, but now they're a game developer, and they work for a game development studio, or they're freelancing and making a ton of money doing game development. What about you? Did you grow up doing this, or what? Like
I grew up playing games. Yeah, I grew up playing all sorts of games. I had all the game consoles growing up. I didn't have any tricked out PCs at the time.
Okay.
As I got older and started doing more, I was doing like little computer repair stuff, but I was still active in playing games. So I've always been interested in how to create them. And I was always obsessed with looking at these game development documentaries, like how these consoles were made, how certain game series were made. But I was always intrigued with how games like Halo became big as it was, right? Because it was the first. I wouldn't say the first person shooter, because anyone out there who plays games know about GoldenEye. That was the first. Oh no, excuse me. Doom was the first.
Okay.
Then, GoldenEye became the most successful first-person shooter that was a franchise, but it was just a movie-based franchise that became a successful game. And now Halo, which is this new IP.
It was huge. Halo was huge.
And how that was made, how that sold a console. When a game like that is a reason why people are buying that game system, that's huge. And you see that right now with virtual reality. With Beat Saber is the only game on the Quest that it's getting people to buy an Oculus Quest.
Wow.
That's the only game. Like anybody, you wouldn't. I don't know any other game besides, people are talking about Resident Evil and how awesome it is. Yes, a game that was made many years ago, but they remade it for VR, which is cool. And I haven't played it, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I'm just going based on what I see in the videos. But the Beat Saber, I played that, and it's a lot of fun to play. And there's so many games that are like that in the store, but I was always intrigued by that stuff, how that stuff was made. And some of the games that I make now are inspired by the N64 and the Dreamcast and the PlayStation, because those styles of the way those games, some of those games were made, they were all arcade ports, but they were fun to play. And I just enjoy that. And I still play games to this day. I play different genres. I go from, role-playing games to sport games to fighting games. And I also play a lot of Halo Infinite.
You're playing PC games as well, right? Or
yes.
Got you.
Yep.
Got you.
I play all of them, and even play some VR games. But VR, not so much. I don't dive too deep in VR games because I'm like, I want to play my own content. I'm just that way.
Yep.
Like when you create something.
Well, I mean, if you're building those type of experiences, why wouldn't you play your own stuff? Like.
Yeah. That's
I was at look, everybody go to his website. It's Drenerdo.com. Like he's got some really, really cool VR and augmented reality looking stuff on there. I was like, whoa.
So some of that stuff I made with different companies. The early stuff was stuff I did as freelancing and the stuff I did on as personal projects.
Oh, nice.
So with all that stuff, some of the inspiration from that stuff did come from video games. Knockout VR. I wanted to make a really good fighting game in VR because there wasn't. I mean, I forgot the name of those games. Like the Creed boxing game, that's a lot of fun to play.
What was it called? Creed?
Creed boxing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've
heard of that one.
Rocky series.
Yep.
That's a fun boxing game. I played that. There is that's another fighting game, another boxing game. Forget the name. Thriller to Fight, which is another awesome fighting game. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to create an MMA fighting game. Because I was playing a lot of UFC 2 at the time, and I just wanted to recreate that in VR. But I feel like the technology was, it was there. I was able to do like full body tracking with the pucks and the HTC Vive pucks. Those things, what the HTC Vive pucks do, they the light sensors I was talking about earlier, they track where those pucks go. So it will work the same way a controller would work. You wouldn't be pressing a button on it. You know what I mean? There would be a button to turn it on. But wherever your arm moves, wherever your leg moves, it's tracking it in real time. Oh. You also put the puck on the dog, and you see the dog just run around in virtual reality. That's pretty. Yeah. That's pretty fun. So, that that game that I wanted to make. I mean, I would like to go back to it, but I just have a different perspective of it now. Just playing games that, from the past. Like I was talking about arcade games earlier, but I don't know if you remember the game you don't play video games.
What was it called?
Ready to Rumble Boxing. It was a game.
I definitely didn't play any of the boxing games. That's for sure. I play games. I'm old. Okay, I come from like the World of Warcraft, the StarCraft.
You did a lot of PC gaming.
Exactly.
You did a lot of PC gaming.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So I'm trying to think of a good PC fighting game. I mean, majority of them are all console ports anyway, but Ready to Rumble Boxing was one of my favorite games on the Dreamcast. It was an arcade game, and it was just a lot of fun to play. And then Knockout Kings was another fighting game that was on PlayStation that was a lot of fun, and then it became Fight Night, and just
Fight Night was good. I played that. Yeah.
That was a fun boxing game.
Super popular. Yeah, that's a.
So I knew like those games would be recreated in VR, but MMA is just getting popular, and I'm like, well, it was already popular, but it was like how it is now, like how mainstream it is during the early days of Conor McGregor. Like, I wanted to recreate a VR fighting game that made you feel like you were in a real UFC fight. Uh, I I made the biggest mistake in not spending so much time on making the gameplay solid. I was focusing too much on design,
Okay.
and it set me back. It just set development back where I got burnt out because I was spending so much time on this particular project, not reaching those milestones and getting the project done. And I was taking it to places and impressing people with the demo. People who've never saw VR before, uh, they're gonna impress. But when I'm showing the people who are like seasoned game developers, like this is cool, keep working on it, best of luck. But I was getting a reaction out of people who've never tried it before, and they were amazed by it. And it's not good taking it to demos and getting punched in the face because it happened a few times.
When this craze of like the whole buzzword metaverse became a thing, especially for like consumers and people who never really understood VR and AR. Like, what did you think when you started hearing like this metaverse everywhere and everybody's talking about the metaverse, and then here comes Facebook changing? Yeah. So what was your like, because somebody who has already had been programming and creating a virtual spaces already, what was your first thought like initially?
The pitches of what the metaverse can be, well, the idea from the book Snow Crash is what we expect the metaverse to be, but the way it's being pitched and the way that it's being put out there, let's see with all these projects, if they come out, if they actually get it right. We spend a lot of time just like thinking about what the idea that Facebook pitch of these virtual worlds that people can build, and they pitch it as this new thing, but it already exists. Fortnite is its own metaverse. PUBG is its own metaverse. Clubhouse is a mobile app, is a metaverse.
Decentraland, all these,
Decentraland, all these different, Decentraland is, it's not much you can do in it, but you can buy land. You can take your NFT, the land you're buying is technically like an NFT or a place for you to put your own little area, like your own little museum and stuff like that, showcase your work. But that idea is cool. It's just used way too much. It's a term that is.
I mean, what's the reality though? Because it is being used a lot though. It's being used a lot, and there's so much there's a lot of hope behind it.
Yeah, we should. That term is used a lot, but those are things that we already use. I'm just like, when people talk about it, I'm thinking about it from a decentralized experience where it's not tied to a centralized server. It can't be tampered with. Well, anything can be tampered with. Any piece of software can be hacked.
Yeah.
So there's no way around it. But this decentralized universe that all these environments and things, eventually these worlds can come together. That's the cool part. Imagine being able to switch from Madden to FIFA, which is by just teleporting without having to quit the game and load in another game. You can just transfer universes. Things like that. If they don't want to be together, they can easily break apart. That world, that virtual world that we all wanted to eventually build and live in, I wouldn't say like live full time, but like be in and create our worlds and create our own little environment where we can showcase our work. Like that future is cool.
I don't know how it's gonna work because the only reason why I'm a little bit worried about it is having those headsets on, and even just like viewing it from a virtual position, like having the optical piece of it, like you would get tired after an hour, an hour and a half.
Yeah, the true metaverse is not virtual reality. The true metaverse is augmented reality. The way the metaverse is being pitched now is that it's decentralized, it's portable, it's not tied to any platform. When you see that some in virtual reality, but the only platform that is big on the market right now to the mass public is Oculus.
Yeah.
That's virtual reality, right? But then there's all these different platforms. Everyone pays attention to PlayStation, PSVR 2, looking forward to that.
Yep.
And then you have Pimax and you have Pico, which is another good one. They should make a consumer version. I think they did, and they do so hot. but I don't know what the other OSs on all these other devices. 'Cause I think they all have their own separate operating system. Um, but Oculus Quest is like the major one. When we talk about the metaverse, in my opinion, augmented reality is a true metaverse. Why? Because you don't really need a headset. Your phone can do AR very well. Your iPhone can do it very well. Your Android can do it very well. And also, they have some awesome AR frameworks that work well with it. Now, work well with augmented reality, but I feel like it's a good idea is for all these worlds to connect together, because I wouldn't say you can use any platform to make AR framework.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really like VR. I love it. It's my career.
Yeah.
You like the technology.
Yeah.
But the mass public aren't really I wouldn't say too excited about VR.
Yeah.
They just want to be part of it because of metaverse hype. But I feel like if you really want the metaverse to be on a different level, we talk about placing on, having people come to these stores and try out VR headsets. We need to be promoting AR more because more people have access to that. The ease of access is very important. Not saying VR is hard to access. We have the Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Meta for getting, making the investment back when VR was just getting started. That push to get VR, trying to make it mainstream and then selling out, that's great. But if we're talking about the true metaverse, it's all in AR. And the reason why I say
that's crazy. I never thought about it like that.
It's the reason why I say that because the mass adoption. And we already have the word metaverse. Again, it already exists. We use it in all of our platforms. But we are talking about, blockchain and all this other stuff. Yeah, we can bring that in to our VR experiences and create our virtual worlds that we want to create. But if we want the masses to be a part of this, and some people just don't really care too much for a headset, AR should just be the target. And I feel like that is the future of augmented reality.
Wow.
And there are more reasons, and a lot of them I can't think of top of my head to give you like a full breakdown.
It makes sense though. Yeah.
But that's just my opinion on where I see the future of metaverses. And I feel like the metaverse, the way it's pitched is a good idea. But we should definitely be focusing, if this is the future we're all going to be in, then we have to do this right. The number one thing I feel like we should definitely focus on is security, right? How users are going to be secured in these virtual worlds that we're building. The NFT that the users are buying to use these worlds. Some don't require NFTs. The play to earn model in these metaverses are going to be awesome. My game would eventually become that, a play to earn game. But I'm thinking about the long term and where I see the technology going, and I feel like AR is the thing. AR is the thing to get it to the next level. And everyone's hyped about Apple and their potential XR headset. I
hope y'all listening to this because this is these are career fields. These are places and things that we need to be focused on. I never thought about that. I keep seeing everybody so excited about putting these headsets on, and when I put the headset on, I'm dizzy or I'm nauseated within an hour of being on that thing, and so that was a concern for me. But then you talked about AR being should be kind of like the focal point, and that makes sense because you can have or glasses that you're using as a
even with the glasses, it's going to take a while to get that technology right, and you see companies doing that, and you see companies like Meta just trying to really establish more of themselves more of an XR headset with the Oculus Quest in its current state. With the pass-through. What I mean by pass-through is, as I was mentioning earlier, how you can draw your play space. You can use the pass-through on the headset, see the cameras on the headset to see the outside world. So if there are experiences that are already on the App Store that support it, you'll be able to take those three-dimensional objects, just like what you would see on a mobile phone with some AR games. My game, Saving Party Island, you can check out on iOS and Android. But there are other...
We're going to talk about that. I'm excited to talk about that, too.
We're definitely going to get into that. I'm excited to talk about what I'm working on for it. But I use those as an example. You can be able to take those virtual world objects, bring it into your physical world and do cool stuff with them.
That's so cool.
And I, you know,
That's so cool.
I feel like those, Meta sees the future, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about Apple. But headsets are going to take a while to become mass adopted, and also the technology to be solid, to work very well. I mean, in real, I shout out to them. They are doing some cool stuff with making consumer AR headsets at affordable price. I mean, they still have to improve the quality, but the tech that they have in that headset so far and how lightweight it is really impressive.
Nice.
There's some stuff I see on the enterprise side, like some cool stuff that Lenovo's doing. I used to work for them. I worked on the
Lenovo?
AR. Yeah, I used to work
Oh,
for
they're
Lenovo.
stepping into AR and VR now? Wow.
Yeah, I worked on their AR headset, Think Reality headset. So I built their controller calibration tool, and then they did
Nice.
it was supposed to be just a photo camera app, but the goal was for it to do more. We just built it to take the standard Android camera and just advance it and make it better, but for augmented reality. And we were able to do that with the headset.
Nice. I didn't even know Lenovo was even in the AR VR space.
Yeah,
You know,
but they're
probably-
on the enterprise side, which is smart.
Okay, yeah.
Which is smart for them because that's where the money is realistically. Like consumer-based AR, I see, in my opinion, the profitable company that I see going forward with that is Snapchat. People sleep on Snapchat, but they're doing a lot of things right. The spectacles, I say they are once they launch that to the masses, that they provide it at an affordable price, you can see Snapchat being far ahead of everybody else. The tech is going to take a while to mature, but they had took a step towards that. I'm just giving you our perspective from, when I tried it. And if you get a chance to run into somebody who has the spectacles, you can get a chance to try them. Hopefully you
check it
agree.
out. Yeah.
I check them out for you, but I'm just gonna let you know. I'm just giving you my perspective from when I tried it out. I'm like, this is a cool piece of technology for a social media company taking a crack at AR and doing wearables in augmented reality. What you see from Ray-Bans and what you see from Bose and all these different companies, they're focusing on spatial audio, which is cool. They're trying to take a step. Well, the Ray-Ban thing is more like you doing exactly what the spectacles did, the original spectacles, where you record, you do simple, like I think 30-second recording for your stories, and then it will upload from the glasses to their platform. But they decided to take that and just advance it, and they made a special pair of AR goggles that work pretty well. I mean, I don't spend all day with them. I tried them a few times, and when I tried them, they were really impressive. There's certain demos in there. There was this one demo where you had a zombie chase you, and it would literally chase you around the room.
No.
And I'm just like, I'm like further away from like on the other side of the room, and the zombie's right behind me. Like, how do you know that I was all over here? So, like that.
Oh wow.
Device is awesome. And it has a long ways to go, but it's a step in the right direction for consumer-based AR. And hopefully Snapchat offers it at a lower price for the mass public. I see people gravitating towards it.
I mean, the consumer-based... Okay, hold on to that. So, I would say that the consumers are probably... I mean, they would be bigger than the corporate, corporate users, right? Like... That's a bigger market. I was looking at Newzoo. I got the report right here. Newzoo reports that there were 2.69 billion gamers in the world by the end of 2020. Like, that's a lot of damn gamers. Like, and so...
But some gamers won't shift to this new tech.
I know.
Unless their favorite franchise works well on that, or unless their friends are on that specific app. The reason why, like, apps like Pokemon did so well is because everyone knows about Pokemon.
It was a buzz, one of those buzzwords, right?
It was cool. Their gimmick was you catch Pokemon. You walk around, you catch Pokemon. That one mechanic is just a signal to everyone, like, this is how you do an AR game, a successful AR game. with gamers that you see the potential, but just not going to gravitate right now unless there's an experience out there that is designed the same experience, but just designed in a way that actually makes sense for people to get up and move. Some people just don't like that. They don't want to get up and move. But there needs to be that one franchise. Like I feel like Half-Life Alex, which was a VR game, it was a step in that direction to get all the, AAA title fans, all the people Half-Life fans into just trying this VR experience. And it was a really good VR game. It was actually a really good story-based VR game that I feel like it's a blueprint for every game to follow. Because most of the games that came out, all the AAA games, were all tech demos. Like, no matter, get mad at me all you want. To me, Doom VFR was a tech demo. Batman, which fucking sorry, I don't need to curse. I was a little frustrated about how bad it wasn't bad. It was cool, right? You could be Batman. You could see it was like most of the graphics from Arkham Knight. It was cool, but it was a tech demo. And it made me like I was buying them like you could be the Batman driving in the Batmobile in VR. You know how awesome that is? They had one arcade game that allowed you to be Batman. You can drive the Batmobile. People don't remember that game. It was a Batman arcade game.
Nice.
It was like one of those shooting games that you'd be in a Batmobile shooting like different drones and stuff that's trying to chase you. But I thought that it was that game in VR, but it wasn't. And I was so mad.
Oh my god.
I was like, no.
They let down. They let him down.
No. So to me, like the major Skyrim. I haven't played that, but most Skyrim fans were trying out that demo and they did like it. I don't know. I don't have any personal feelings towards it because I just I was a little heartbroken because of Batman, so I didn't want to have the same disappointment. But I'm hearing a lot of good things about Resident Evil. Resident Evil 4.
I used to play Resident Evil.
And that's out on the Quest 2.
Really?
And let's see how they do with San Andreas. For me, like if as a gamer, I'm playing Halo. I do not want Halo in VR. I refuse to have that in VR. Just not gonna happen for me.
Too intense?
It's not too intense. It's just, why am I playing a major franchise that I play on my console in VR? I want something new in VR. I want all indie in VR. There's a lot of good indie games that I can't even think of. There's so many, I just can't think of one major one that people should check out. But there's so many great games on the Quest 2 that I'd rather spend $40 or $50 on that are developed by a team of 10 people over, buying a game that I play on my console. I do not want to play Resident Evil 4 in VR. That's just my personal opinion.
I get you.
Yeah, there's a game that was made 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Why are you replaying? Like, don't resell. And they're making what did they make? San Andreas for VR?
I'm curious how that's going to be interesting.
I hope they do it right. If it comes out as a tech demo, I'm going to be so mad. I want to be proven wrong. I just like all these major franchises, and just to go back to our original topic about gamers getting into VR and stuff like that. It's gonna take some time. There has to be that IP is going to make people like, I want to play VR for that. I feel like Beat Saber is that, and I feel like that's a great VR starter app. But in terms of getting like the hardcore gamers from their PCs onto a VR headset, is going to take that next Half-Life Alyx experience, or trying to think of another successful VR game. There's another one. It's a physics-based one. I can't think of the name. But there's so many different IPs out there. There just need to be that one that's going to get people to convert. This is a slow adoption, but it's going to take some time to get everybody to be on a VR wave, in my opinion. The field of game development is so freaking huge. My friend Lauren Fraser, she's the CEO of Ramen VR, and they're the ones who they're the ones who make Counter Strike. She just closed. I'm not hating on you guys.
It's not me. It's my girl. Okay.
No.
They just closed on $10 million. There's I think a Series A. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
congrats. Again, I don't know. It's VR is something new. I just don't know. I haven't like
Well,
been to
okay.
many
Talk.
enterprises.
Because I'm like I've been waiting for you to talk to me about it, and you wouldn't say anything to me about Saving Party Island. Like,
Really?
please tell me something. You wouldn't even. I asked you about it, and you wouldn't even say
Yeah.
anything. So now you can talk, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
So it started as like a demo that I wanted to build for. Uh, it was showcasing some AR kit stuff at the time, and
And this is your own personal project, right? Or is this something that you're
that was
working
my
on
own
with the work?
personal project.
Okay.
It's my own personal. Uh, I I was just learning how to make AR experiences using AR Kit, then AR Core, and I was just doing various stuff. I was trying out different mechanics. It first started off as a first-person shooter type of thing. Well, not first person, more like your air support, but you say FPS. I just enjoyed the flow of the game. It was originally ships attacking a skull island, and I just kept just it was trial and error. I originally launched it back in 2018,
I just
and
Googled
I've
it and I
been
see it in there from 2018. I'm like, whoa.
yeah, it was not the best quality, but it was something that at least got me going with AR.
Nice.
And then I shelved the project because I was just distracted with different ideas and other pieces of other projects I wanted to pursue. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to launch something like Saving Party Island. It's already in the store. I haven't updated it in years, and I want to redo it right. But I have plans of where I want to take the game. So I figured, well, AR, the best mechanics are the shooting aspect, but then you have other mechanics like tower defense or city building simulations like The Sims. That stuff works very well in AR. And I was like, I think let me add the tower defense aspect to it, and that's when it became what it is now. It's a augmented reality tower defense first person shooter, and the goal is to eventually make it a blockchain game. But I want to allow people to take their island, customize it however they want, be able to the diamond that you see there to be replaceable with other objects. I'll announce those later. Not in this conversation, but I'll be putting stuff on the social media so
Please
people can
do.
check out
Thank you.
and be able to add different properties. If they want to put like a little store there, they can. Put a little art gallery, they can, and eventually allow people to showcase their own content, and eventually place that piece of content into this universe that people can go visit, and they'll be able to take your island and see it in AR. And if you have a live event, like let's say if you're having drones trying to invade, they'll be able to team up with you and you can defeat the drones together. And the goal is, back when I was originally working on it and crypto was getting big, I was like, cryptocurrency should be a reward system. And that's gonna,
That would be, yeah, NFTs, yeah. NFTs as well. Actually, I
So,
just met with a game developer earlier today, who was building a game on the blockchain, and the reward system was based off of minting NFTs. It's really cool. Yeah.
so blockchain games are the future, and I see a lot of possibilities, a lot of cool ideas to pursue with that technology. But the goal is to eventually make Saving part of that and be able to scale it to become a universe where everyone can, customize the island and, defend it from invading drones. I plan on adding more enemies to the game. And I want to be able to scale the game to be more. I have a different perspective of it now because I've taken a long break from it to pursue other projects. One project I was working on is on my portfolio website now. It's called Spatial Smashers. It was the demo I built for the Magic Leap, which is an XR headset. Well, it's an AR headset. And you had this controller, which was your virtual hammer, and you was beating up. I had a bunch of spheres in the environment. and they were just rolling around. These little balls that were rolling around, and you were able to hit them, and they would explode. And they would spawn out of a wall. And I have a funny story. When I moved to Las Vegas for a job, I was for a company I was working for. I had moved into this apartment. I did not know it was infested with roaches.
Oh no! Oh, it's Vegas though.
Well,
Look, I lived in Vegas too, and
no, it's not
same experience.
Vegas is an awesome city.
I know, but it's roach infested though. Come on.
So,
woo. Did you? You may have lived in. You may have lived in the same apartment that I lived in while I was there.
Let's not make that so bad. I don't people watching this show. I don't want information to get back. Even though I have a video on YouTube, I will make public.
Look, guys, moral to the story: don't move to Vegas. All right.
Yeah, don't. It's visit though. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I moved into this place and I just seen a bunch of roaches everywhere. So I spent the whole month because I had to break my lease. And I don't want nothing, when you break your lease, you just bounce.
Yep.
They will do you dirty.
Yep.
Word of advice, not leave any property until you have everything
my God, that's funny.
together. So I spent the whole month just hitting roaches, killing them. So I was literally playing my game in real life. And
oh my God, that's funny.
Then, I moved out of that place, but I'm like, there's an idea. And it eventually became that. So when I participated in the hackathon, AR House, where they're doing some cool stuff. Shout out to the entire team there. Those guys put on a hackathon. I was like, this is a perfect time to make this a thing. So there's a video on my website that you see a big tower there. It's supposed to be like a LiDAR sensor or some type of sensor. And it would open up a hell portal and bugs with human heads would just pop out of a hell portal. And you can hit them, and as you hit them, they explode.
Oh my God! No, no.
So, I plan on. Well, I have the mobile version built out. It's just not
live yet.
It's not live, but the goal is to make that a location-based game, and I want to dabble into that type of technology. I'm doing it first with Saving Party Island, but the goal is to scale that game. And make that a game that could be available on not just on the phone but on a AR headset.
Oh wow!
So people can play with the controller.
Actually, it's so funny that you described how you came up with that concept. I wrote this right before we came into the interview. I wrote this question down that I was going to ask you: is how do you conceptualize your games? So I was going to ask you, how do you come up with your ideas? How do you storyboard?
They usually start off that whole Vegas situation was a random thing that happened. And it was fit right into my plans, which the roach infested apartment was not my plan to move into.
Of course not.
It is an idea that was behind a game that, I originally just thought about, how would be able to use spacing computing to do cool games. And I feel the Magic Leap, in my opinion, if you want to compare both HoloLens and Magic Leap together, Magic Leap would win with, in my opinion, just more gaming-based content. Because even though the HoloLens is you just wear a headset and it does all the space, it has all the computing parts in the headset. Just have a side computer, which the whole tether thing kind of defeats the experience. But as you play certain games, you realize how fun it is. Just good thing you have that little compute back. So the headset's not getting hot, even though it still gets hot, but not as worse as a HoloLens where you leave it on all day.
Got it.
But that device, the Magic Leap, is a lot of fun. In my opinion, it's one of the best headsets to develop for in AR. But that Magic Leap 2, I'm looking forward to.
That's awesome. I can't wait to test out. Put me on your testers list.
Definitely.
And then
the Spatial Smashers is going to be fun. But Saving Party Island, for me, it was a project that started my AR interest. I needed that one thing that would be cool, a game that I wanted to play in augmented reality. It was
If you guys want to follow his Instagram, he's got some clips of this
pretty.
game, and it looks like it's getting ready to be wicked. Like I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah. It's on my portfolio website. Oh, some of that stuff is on my portfolio website or my personal Instagram. But I do have an Instagram for the game, which I'll be posting new updates for Saving Party Island. As
Okay.
as more information comes available, I'll be posting it on Saving Party Island.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any of the Party Island stuff on your website.
Well, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, the website is also it's being changed right now. I just been
Okay.
focusing
Okay.
more on the app. The app is out, so y'all can play it.
Yeah.
It's a free game. But I'm just spending time. I'm a one man band over here working on that game.
I
So
understand. Trust me.
I've just been focusing on the content in the game, and then as I launch the game, I'll put more footage and stuff out. That's the reason why like the Instagram is more important for me, so I can show people, and then the website will reflect that. But I plan on making that website just a coming soon page until I have all of the information for the virtual island that the user is going to be building. So
Got you.
there's so many plans for that game.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited because I keep seeing you post up stuff about it. I'm like, dude, show me. I want to see it. So I'm super duper excited to hear about it. I got one. I gotta ask you this because this is a black technology group and you're black and you are a black dev. And one thing that I noticed about the game field, the actual career field of game developers is like, it just feels like black devs are missing out on the career potential. I think when I was reading, this was probably maybe a few months ago, there was an article that said like African Americans are like the second biggest group outside of Asian Americans to consume and to use and to indulge in video games. So like, how does it feel to be a black dev? And have you had any obstacles in your career? So I'm sure you have, but like any notable experiences that you can talk about, whether it be good or bad? Maybe you met up with a group of people who were just like-minded that was black devs as well. Maybe I don't know, maybe you embarked on an opportunity that was really cool, or just any experience that you can share with us about being a black dev and the whole experience.
The experience being a software engineer, a black developer, game developer, it's been interesting. I wouldn't say all my experience has been bad. They are
That's
bad.
good.
It's more of my own personal stuff. But career wise, I have got a chance to take on different opportunities. It's hard, joining a project and staying motivated, especially when it's like something you do all day long and you just like, oh, this game sucks. I want to play something else.
Yeah.
Just my goal, the goals for me is I want to create my own stuff and I want to put my own content out there. I want more people playing it. And just being able to do that as a solo developer and fail over and over and over again, and then just try to just keep pushing to get something out there. That's worked for me in my career. I'm, in my beginning of my career, it was hard for people to take me seriously, but people saw potential in me, and I was like, nah, I could do this cool shit. So I had a lot to prove, and I still have a lot to prove. You just can't, and I realize this, and just anyway, you can't just be us and just be basic. You have to go above and beyond.
Yeah, seriously,
You
that's
have
real talk.
You have to love. First, you have to have developed that love for what you do, and then that work ethic, that ability to just like, I'm going to continue pushing to get my thing out there. That would just take over everything else. Now, once you focus on something you really do believe in, and you tell people about it, and you're excited about it, they'll be willing to listen. But you have to constantly be delivering on everything you're saying. So everything I'm
Sure.
pitching you, I'm currently working on.
Gotcha.
Any idea I may have, I randomly hit you up and like, hey, what do you think about this idea?
Yep.
You know, I'm working on that idea.
Yep.
And the more content people see, no matter where you are, where you come from, that's what's going to get you into every door of opportunity. And I realized this in my early stages of my career, and it's very important now. And yet, granted, I have the opportunities in front of me, like I showcase all the biometric video stuff, and I got people interested. But I still have more content to really put out there that's outside of that stuff, and make myself an asset to the market that I'm in. It's not just owning a business; it's also being, if you're an engineer, you want to be able to have other doors of opportunity. If it's not in games, it can be in creating simulations. It can be in creating metaverses that are social. There's so many different things to do. So, the major challenge is it's just finding that it's trying. Shit. I'm talking about it from a whole personal thing. Like,
No, we want to hear that.
I kind of relate to, like, I can't relate to everybody, but I'm just gonna say it for me. Like, it's constantly just shut out the noise. Don't listen to other people. Go out and just do your thing, and let people see what you create. And if that thing that you create makes you happy, then nobody's opinions matter. I don't care if you are, someone who's been in the game industry for a long time, and then you end up going indie and you're doing your own thing and you're working with other developers, or you're just a new person coming up. You have to love that thing that you do, and that would surpass everything. And I love Knockout VR, and it was a game that started my career, and I will continue working on it as a passion project. Mm-hmm. But the smaller scale projects, and me launching those, I'm just building those to eventually scale those things and get them out there. And it's just hard for me to sit back and let these opportunities pass me by not continuing to work hard to just put out more stuff, and just be on top of my game. But the major challenge is this. The major challenge is just dealing with failure, dealing with that. But if you don't continue trying, you don't continue finding that love, it's going to be hard. It's going to continue to be hard. The industry is changing though, as we're bringing a new culture into this technology, to these new emerging technologies, and great things are happening for us. Just the fact that you see a lot of Black engineers starting to be out in the open, and they're taking on these new technologies such as blockchain gaming, metaverses, or NFTs. Mm-hmm. Our culture, our people have a chance to really do things that are different, and the market's going to follow behind what we do and what we produce. Mm-hmm. We've always been producers.
Always.
We have a major influence in every industry, and technology. The technology industry is starting to shift, where voices like ours have a huge say in each brand that we all have in our own home. There's Black people ahead of engineering teams at Apple, at Microsoft, at Sony, at Meta, at different companies that need a different perspective, and we bring that perspective. And it's awesome to see that the metaverse is the way in, just like the VR industry was my way into gaming and want to do VR-based games and AR-based games. Mm-hmm. Like, the metaverse is getting more Black engineers into creating multiple universes using a game engine, or learning some type of web framework to do Web3 stuff, or learn blockchain security, or just blockchain technology.
Yep, I agree.
And it's so many doors and opportunities openings for us, and we just have to continue pushing the boundaries forward, and we have to adapt to where the industry goes. But it's just an awesome thing to see that emerging tech is just changing the entire industry entirely. It's not just for African Americans, it's for all of us.
Everybody, absolutely.
But there are some setbacks that we have to deal with, and we should address before, this new technology is in the hands of everybody. Even though it is, it's just, we all know about Decentraland and stuff like that because we hear all these different clubhouse and all these different talks and things of that nature.
Yep.
But, once we get out to the mass public, you have to deal with all the other controversies that go on the web, and those are slowly being addressed. And that, the attention behind issues in the VR space, well, in just the space entirely, tech industry, is starting to come front and center, and we're doing things about it. But not a lot is being done, but steps are being done to make sure those things don't repeat in these new markets that are emerging, and a lot of opportunity for African Americans out there to join companies like Meta, like Microsoft, like Sony, like any of these tech companies that are popping up is doing metaverses or doing type of games or game development entirely. It's more open and it's more available for anybody to get in. There's tons of tutorials out there, so there's no excuse.
You were talking about like being adaptable, in this day and age, like being adaptable is so critical.
And by the way, you don't need to learn if you don't want to do any games. You just want to make Snapchat filters.
Yep.
That
was another thing that I meant to ask you earlier. Is like, I know you said you did work in I'm in the health tech space where AR, VR, augmented reality, mixed reality, all these different areas are kind of like emerging now. Like you worked on biometrics apps, right? You've worked in the B2B space. You've worked in the enterprise space. Like social games, gaming, and all that stuff is just the surface of the bigger picture. And when you talked about being able to adapt, like the possibilities are endless. Truthfully.
Yeah. And outside of games, there's so much opportunity with this technology.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason why, you talk about a lot about game development. Game development is great, but outside of games, there's so many ways this technology is influencing so many different industries to change, and a lot of opportunities are opening up because of that. With the ability to bring in machine learning and data science and all that stuff into these data visualization apps that are being built, these healthcare apps is being built, and being able to merge people's physical devices into these worlds, and you be able to show them data breakdown, and you can go deep into giving the client or whoever the patient may be information on what things they should be taking, and what they should look out for and what to avoid, and be able to break that down. If you continue consuming this thing, what it can do to your heart, what it can do to your lungs. I remember back in the day, everyone was like, "Oh, stop eating sugar," because they look at a documentary that shows what sugar does to your body,
Right.
and it just messes up everyone psychologically. And some people start like, "I'm eating sugar." Next minute, they're eating sugar.
Yeah.
They eat some type of ice cream or whatever it may be. But like that video showed people what sugar can do to your body, and take what that video. But I forget the name of that documentary, but it's something about sugar, whatever it may be. But that documentary, imagine that as an AR experience, and you be able to take that sugar cube, you put it in your coffee, you consume that coffee, gives you a breakdown of how that coffee's been broken down, what your body does to that sugar, and what sugar does to your brain, what sugar does to everything in your body. You can sit and consume that. Imagine just being able to break it down, like using a slider, like one of those, like, I don't know if you use the HoloLens. Are you using HoloLens for?
No, but somebody asked you what your opinion was of that in the chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fire. I have one here. I use it. That's really cool. The HoloLens 2. If you're not really interested in the HoloLens, the Magic Leap is really good. The Magic Leap 2 is going to be even better. And then you also have the phone, your phone as an AR device. But HoloLens 2, in my opinion, for the technology that is in it, it's fantastic. They just need to improve the quality of the graphics you see on screen. But in terms of spatial computing, it's really, really, nice. It's a pretty awesome device.
Nice.
The first one was cool, but this one's even better. And it really does take advantage of tracking your hands and stuff of that nature. If you go on my portfolio website, there is a video there with the HoloLens. I'm just pressing a little diamond and it's spawning a bunch of Xbox balls on the floor, but it's using the spatial computing in the headset to set a plane on mesh for those objects to fall on.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
But to answer the person who asked the question, HoloLens 2 is great. Check it out if you get a chance. Is it worth the investment? Yes, because most companies are getting into it. Most companies, most enterprises are developing for HoloLens. And they all use MRTK for development, which is a mixed reality toolkit. It's more like a framework that you can build all your AR experiences with inside the game engine called Unity. And most Oculus Quest 2 uses MRTK, and Magic Leap does, and I forgot what other device uses it. I think the Windows mixed reality is HoloLens, but there's another headset that uses it.
Excuse me. I saw it said it's super expensive.
Check out the HoloLens too.
How much is it? Is it like over $1,000 or?
Yeah, it's like when I bought it was like $3,500.
No, what?
Yeah. Listen, if you want to get some customers in the enterprise space, you might as well make the investment. It's worth it, in my opinion.
Wow.
But hey, with Quest 2 and the pass-through stuff, I mean, granted, the spatial computing in it is not great, but it's a start. You know what I mean? That's why I say AR on the phone is better. I've used AR on my iPad Pro here. It's
really? Wow.
pretty fun. It's not bad. Like some AR games are awesome. I played my game on it, obviously.
Yeah, well, I saw some of the videos of you with your phone. I'm like, whoa.
The iPad. Yeah, it was a design issue that I'm fixing. I didn't have in Unity, since this is the game development talk. You have the like when you place an object on a canvas, like like say. You played around Unity, right?
Yep.
So you have your main camera, but if you put a canvas there, you can have it overlay the camera feed.
Yeah.
So when a person tunes in, they just see an actual block in front of them.
Yep.
But with I'm sorry. I forget what I was talking about.
Okay, don't worry. You drew a blank. No worries.
No, hold on. I was trying to make a point. I just forgot.
Okay.
And,
It happens, man.
oh, this is gonna kill me. This
Don't
is
worry
really
about it. We'll come back to it. If it pops up in your brain, we can talk about it.
I was just going on a rant and I just forgot what it was.
You were making a really good point though.
Yeah. Damn. I hate when that happens.
Excuse me, it happens. It happens. So,
Whatever,
as far as platforms that you would suggest, the developers in the group to learn,
all of them.
all of them.
All of them. Use all of them. Experiment with all of them. Figure out what works for you. If you want to get your experience out there to as many people as possible, focus on all of them. And majority of the headsets that exist in the market all use the same framework.
Okay.
I haven't played around and I haven't spent more time in Unreal Engine to give an Unreal Engine perspective. I'm explaining from a Unity perspective.
Okay.
OpenXR, AR Foundation, they're both frameworks that are open to all devices.
Okay.
Now, the VR perspective, you have to keep in mind certain platforms do. I mean, all of them are usually based on Android if they're mobile. But if you're doing stuff on a PC, you have that framework OpenXR can work with any headset in the market. So you don't have to, develop specifically for Oculus. The experience you use with OpenXR, if you want to port that to Windows mixed reality headset or HTC Vive for Oculus, native Oculus, you can do that. So it's a universal tool, which is awesome, which I feel like that's important for making games, in my opinion. You want to have one framework that you can port all your games to. So you don't have to design for the PlayStation alone, even though you still have to, like UI-wise and control-wise. Like, if you press a button on a headset, that button is similar to every other headset on the market because they all use the same language or whatever functionality called, like input.get key code or whatever it may be, or get key down, or whatever button it may be. They all use the same layout. So
That's so cool.
use all of them and experiment. And same thing with game engines. Those who learn in game engines or want to learn how to get into game development, experiment with all of them, figure out what works for you and what you understand the most, and just use that. And it goes for anyone who's trying to make their own metaverse or build on existing worlds. I use Unity. That's my personal thing. But there's Unreal Engine, there's Unity, there's OpenXR. No, excuse me, XR Foundation. That's on the web. You have Metaverse, which is another web game engine. You have Play Canvas, which is another game engine, all HTML5 based, but they have JavaScript as a backend. Babylon JS. That's how CryptoVox was built, but it had other components additional to Babylon JS, which is awesome. And that stuff you have to look up. I don't know off the top of my head. Decentraland was built in Unity, so just get a chance to experiment with different frameworks and figure out what works for you, and then go from there.
Got it. Awesome. I'll ask you a couple more questions, and then we will let you get on with your night. But aside, he says, will AVR become commercial with the rise of the metaverse, like content, so that we can say own our virtual pets that we that we pay for, like real pets, and others use the same technology would be able to see and interact with our pets. Oh, that's interesting.
Do I believe it will become mainstream? Yes. It's starting to become mainstream. A lot of people buying VR headsets. AR is, and people have AR powered devices, mobile phones. iOS, iPhones can support them. Most Androids can support them. I think they're limited to the older. No, the older ones can support them, but certain models of different manufacturers, like a Motorola, like the older phones may not support it, but their newer, more modern phones would support augmented reality. So that's just one company, but there's many companies in the Android space that would support AR-based content on that phone. So
Got it.
It's already commercialized. For AR wearables, it's going to take some time. Google Glass wasn't an augmented reality headset, so I'm not going to use that as a point. I'm not going to use that as a frame of reference.
I remember when they were talking about Google Glass, like that was like, Google, it's getting ready
Google Glass is a heads-up display. It's not but in order for us to have comfortable wearables, like an in-rail headset that is not tethered to your phone, but you have to be tethered to your phone if you want that graphic power, or you have to deal with every AR headset or every electronic deals with, and that's heat. You do not want a headset that's about to explode on your face. It's not it's not a good user experience. A nice NFT in the background you got over there.
Oh, my Bored Ape.
Yeah. The Bored Ape. What was I talking about?
See, I messed you up with the Bored Ape.
Oh, well, not the Bored Ape, but the I answered that.
Don't worry about it.
There was something else I was going to add to that point, but I was like, never mind. I ended with that. That was good.
Man, that's awesome. So what? So outside of your the party island, what else are you working on, and what can we expect from you? And
more. Well, I'm doing more enterprise applications that I can't really talk about at the moment.
Okay.
I'm spending more time prototyping different concepts with other devices, but I'm putting a little bit of time into that. Most of my time is in just working on updates for Saving Party Island.
Awesome.
And my goal is to scale it as I shared with y'all earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I plan on shipping more AR content. And also doing some VR stuff as well. But mainly it's making sure Saving Party Island is a successful AR game. And it will be. I just want to put a lot of energy behind it, but make sure all these different ideas that I'm implementing work and it makes the gameplay fun. If you ship a boring game in AR, no one's gonna really care. So I just need that. I want to continue making the game fun, and if it doesn't catch on, the next game will. And I just want to set myself up for success for that. Which I don't want to talk about the next game because I want to focus on this
On
game.
this one,
This game,
exactly.
push it.
We
the
want to
next level.
support.
People like it.
Yeah, we want to support you on it. I'm not sure if you're on Facebook. A lot of people who I interview aren't even on Facebook. It's so weird, but we do have some game developers in our group, and we definitely want to be supportive of you when you do launch or when you get into the beta stages, and you need some folks to poke around and pick through your new game. We definitely want to be a part of it, and I'll share whatever links that you have, anything that we can do to just to support it, because I was just, again, you guys go on his Instagram, follow him on Instagram. I think he's on Twitter too, Drenerdo. He's Drenerdo on Instagram, and his website is also drenerdo.com. I'll share the links inside of our event page. But Dre, thank you. Yeah, we way over, but man, this is fantastic. I knew that this was a big subject to talk about, so I'm happy that you were open.
There's more. There's a lot of stuff that
I know.
There.
I got a whole bunch of questions written down, and it's like I got through maybe 1/3 of them, but everything that I had written down was exactly where we ended up going with the conversation. So, super excited.
There's so many cool pieces of content that I'm excited about outside of stuff I work on, but majority of my time is playtesting updates. I'm really looking forward to what the Magic League 2 has to offer. I'm getting excited about it.
Magic League 2, okay.
Magic League 2, I mean, the quality of the headset, I hear it has improved.
Okay.
And
let me write this down.
I have fun with the Magic League 1. I don't play it as much because I'm doing stuff on a mobile phone. But yeah, the power of that headset, just to be able to do gaming with a headset like that, that's the future for me.
That's awesome.
The metaverse is the true metaverse is augmented reality. 100%.
That's a fantastic quote. We again, that was the first time I've heard anybody describe it like that. Everybody's so excited about having this 3D version of it that I keep hearing everybody talking about. And outside of talking about this 3D virtual world that everybody wants to be a part of, they're also talking about the financial aspect of it a lot. That's the core piece of everything is how much money can we make out of it, and which headset is going to be able to serve it up, and all this. Just I think the conversation is still to be had, and we'll bring you back on. Maybe we can demo the game when you come back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to
Awesome.
follow up call, and I hope everyone who's looking at will check this interview out. It's an amazing opportunity right now. There's no excuse. Information's out there.
I wish I was 20 years younger. I'd be on it right now, but I feel like I've served my purpose in development and in the creative space and moving into the managerial piece of it right now, and so I'm jumping out. But I'm telling you guys, I'm so excited to see you guys doing what you're doing. So exciting.
And there's so many ways to get in. You can do don't you do Snapchat filters and stuff like that? You played around with
I have. I've played around with some of the SDKs and stuff. I just haven't gotten into it.
If you decide to dive in, they do have some games that you can make on in the studio. I don't know about the Facebook one. I don't know about Spark AR, but Spark AR is pretty cool. I developed a filter. No, that was for Snapchat, not for Instagram, not for Spark AR. But you can start small. You can make.
Are you gonna? Are these things that you're gonna put inside of the in the extension stores or whatever in the different platforms, or are you gonna make them public? Yeah. Are these you gonna make these public?
Well, yeah. The Snapchat filter called Glitch of July, which is just an American flag just on a glitch mask.
Okay.
That's just a little small demo, but I don't dive too deep into the studio because I work on my own content, or I work full time,
Yeah, busy.
so I would work on my projects for work. But I plan on dabbling back into spectacles development, if I get my hands on one. Hopefully, it's soon. Uh, but the platform itself, I don't really just make Snapchat filters. I don't have any good
Yeah.
ideas for Snapchat. They've already been built, so it's like I don't want to recreate something else that somebody else created. So I feel like the game space for the AR glasses that Snapchat is working on. Well, it's already out, but it's out to invite. It's an invite only thing. What they have so far and what I played around with is pretty cool. So I might dive into that, but I want to, focus my attention on mobile AR because there's a lot of opportunity there, especially with blockchain gaming and play to earn gaming. It's, in my opinion, the future. And let's see what happens from here. I mean, there's a couple of companies. You mentioned someone who is working on a blockchain game. Someone you met.
Yep. I just had a meeting with them today.
It's an amazing opportunity for anyone to get in.
Yep.
Especially with the current game mechanics that are out there. Like you can just build on that. Small games end up becoming huge. Like, what was it called? Crypto Kitty? Was it Crypto Kitties or what was it? It's a game that's out right now. The popular game. I forget the name of it. Popular blockchain game.
I haven't played any blockchain games at all.
The Axe not Axe Infinity is something with Axe or whatever it may be. That game is a popular blockchain game. There's another one with kitty. Is it Crypto Kitties? Crypto Kitties? I don't know what it is. It's something with cats. You buy an NFT and you play that game. I think it's a strategy. It's not a strategy game. It's one of those like battle royale type of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is interesting. So for a small game like that becomes successful, is an amazing opportunity for someone to create a brand new experience for people to I want to buy an NFT for that game.
Interesting. Yeah.
And most companies are holding off because they don't want to overflow the market. They don't want the market to collapse. They see the possibilities, but they're like, let's.
Oh, you're right. It's called Crypto Kitties. Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I haven't played that. I played the.
Aside, don't give me any more jobs or any more roles to do, please. He said you're never too old. You're never too old to pioneer.
Just try it out. It's a lot of fun. I mean, that's a great way to get started. We want people to play your game without them having to download anything, but download a filter. Make a game and let us do it.
I always like when I see those filters and stuff. I'm like, somebody's making this stuff. Like this is yeah.
There's tons of content creators out there. Especially they have some AR filters that are meant that allow you to try on clothes. And they actually fit. They actually are on your body. So the cloth and stuff will move as you move.
No, yeah.
They have some really impressive demos for fashion. They have a fitness one where I've seen this video of this guy lifting up a virtual axe in the air, and he's like Thor.
Oh wow!
He's doing muscle ups.
My son is trying to get into video game development. He's 15 and he's going into his junior year in high school, and so
start off small. Make a small game.
Yeah, he's starting them off now. So very cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here, and I know we were way over. Dre, you're so sweet. I really appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit longer because I know that we were intending just to have this for an hour, but I gotta keep on plucking your brain because you got so much experience.
Thank you. I'm happy to be on, and thank you for having me. And
we'll demo your game when you're ready. When you're ready for either a beta definitely. Or something for us to take a look at. Definitely. So whenever you're ready. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. We'll get you next time, and then I'll share all the links for Drenerdo's social media for you guys to follow him and follow all of his work. All right, take it easy.